Man, if I ain't seen some bullshit on TV this morning on Channel 15 with the news anchor talking about, look at this low-handed uh, thing of drug cartels getting our kids to smuggle drugs across the border. They fucking drug fiends, your kids. Most of the kids that was homeless when I came up here in 2013 were on hard drugs like heroin, and I was outdone. I was like, damn, this young kid on heroin, and how they trying to make it seem like cartel dealers are making their kids smuggle drugs and guns across the border. Now, this fucking Peterson, I can't turn the camera around. But this lady shaking her head. She's one of the top anchor persons on Channel 15. Look like when all four of them walking. Her, I don't want to stop it from taping. This lady in the red was saying, "Oh, this underhanded thing of them making our kids smuggle drugs across the border." And she's shaking her head. Look, you ain't got no control over your kids. You don't know where they at. They was dope fiends in the first place, and ain't nobody making your kids do shit. If you take drug tests of the kids that claim that they were being made take the drugs, smuggle the drugs, they gonna be having drugs in their system. Of course, the news people gonna say, "Oh, it was just from handling the drugs they had to smuggle." That's gonna be the next story. Your kids are dope fiends in the first place, and if they smuggling drugs, it's only to fuel their habit, and they probably owe dope dealers in the first place. So that's how you get sucked into to doing that. They're not just gonna pick your lily white kids out of the crowd and say that they better smuggle some drugs, because it's gonna be two things: either they're on drugs and they're trying to do this to support their habit, or the parents are on drugs and they're trying to support the parents' habit, or the parents got kidnapped and sent over there, or prostituting their kids out in a way to smuggle drugs for them. They're not just gonna pick and have all that focus on them. After all, there's enough stuff going over there just lately with the family getting killed. So that is some bullshit. And this is how it's portrayed on the news and covered up and made to look like a piece of shit is really a piece of meatloaf, and it's really delicious. That's how they do shit in Phoenix, especially this lady. I want you to see her, the one in the red at the desk. You don't have to see her clearly. You just have to know that she's full of shit. And I was outdone. I had to get up and turn the lights on. Talking about, look at this underhanded way of how these cartels are using our kids to smuggle drugs. Your kids is a damn dope fiend. Take a drug test, I can prove it. But you're gonna say, "Oh, how is this? Oh, how is this? Oh, it's probably because they had to handle the drugs that they made them smuggle across the border." No, you give your kids free will, and they were doing heroin when they was 13 from the pills that they stole out of your medicine cabinet that they were experimenting with. Or your kids, if they're of any age, you let them get high at ASU, see who can get the highest and who can do the most drugs, and then go into the VA as doctors and nurses. That's what happened. And all those spills y'all stole from the VA and to get y'all cars fixed were free. And then since the epidemic started in Phoenix with people on opiates and it got in your neighborhood, then now it's a problem with opiates. Otherwise, y'all was content with just selling them to snowbirds and people from the city. But when your kid got hooked on drugs, then it got to be a problem. And those kids that got hooked on drugs are parents now raising other kids that's already addicted to drugs. So, and the cartel are not going to just pick anybody out of a crowd to tell them to smuggle drugs unless their parents are on drugs or unless they couldn't pay the cartel dealers for the drugs that they did. They're not going to do that. You know, they're not gonna do that. What happens years ago in El Paso when I was in the service, somebody out of a family owed a drug dealer, and in payment, depending on what he owed, the family member